What up, y'all? It's your girl, Rainy Storm, checking in for the Sun Sign Zodiac series. As we are quarantining, I've been challenging myself, to put out these videos and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And so far, so good, you know what I'm saying? Now we are going to be going from Taurus into the sign of Gemini. For those of y'all that don't know what the sun sign is, it's the sun signs or signs for my cuss babies out there who were born in on a specific month and a specific day. And so if you don't know what your sun sign is, definitely go and check that out. It is your destiny on this earth, not necessarily your north node, but it is like what you have come to fulfill and the lessons that you have come to learn on this here earth. So for my sun sign Geminis, as you can already see with me, now we're not in the Mars series just yet, but I will be doing the Mars series this month. I have a Gemini Mars, so it's really hard for me to stay still. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to stay in one place. It's hard for me, it's kind of like that OCD, not OCD, no, not OCD energy. I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's not OCD. It's like when motherfuckers try to put people on Ritalin because they can't fucking sit down. So you're always bouncing off the walls. It is air. It's mutable air. So it's always constantly moving, always constantly changing. It's probably, if we want to call shape shifting, Gemini, between Pisces and Gemini, specifically Gemini is the shape shifter. Excuse me. Mercury is in Pisces. I'm a Pisces rising. Mercury's in Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces. So if I'm skipping over words, hey, just know. You know what I mean? And we're actually about to be in a Gemini retrograde, Venus retrograde, but that's a whole nother video. Back to Gemini. Okay, so that's Gemini. So Gemini will have a thought in their mind. It'll leave. They'll be talking. That motherfucker will leave. Middle of the conversation, that motherfucker will come back. They will snatch it and be like, oh, and by the way, that's what I was thinking about a day and a half ago. This is what I wanted to say. Gemini. Gemini rules the third house. It's the house of communication. It is the house of brothers, sisters, short distance travel, whereas Sagittarius, its opposite sign is long distance travel. It is community, you know what I mean? If we're talking about small talk, Gemini is small talk. Gemini is the mutual sign of the zodiac along with Virgo and the mercurial rulers of that. It is the messenger god of the zodiac. It comes down to bring the messages bestowed upon the earth. Like Sagittarius is the truth seeker, but sometimes Gemini gets the bad rap for what is really the truth, because they're the twins. So on one end, it's like one twin might be spewing some shit, and then on the other side, the other twin might be spewing some shit. So what is really real? It is the duality of this earth, Gemini looks at things from all perspectives, and sometimes Gemini gets the rap because it's like a lot of people in this earth think that things are black and white. And for some of it, you can have like a stance on one end, a stance on other end. But for Gemini, sometimes they kind of just go with the flow of the majority sometimes versus going on their own mind of what they feel and think. And that's what they learn from Sagittarius. So Gemini, comes in this world learning how to, teach people how to communicate and look at things from all sides versus looking at things from just one perspective. They're very, very creative signs. It rules the hands. They like to do things with their hands. They like to play, music is definitely a thing. A lot of artists that are Geminis are definitely into music, into, creative, endeavors and things like that, because their mind is always, 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 always constantly going. They need that. They crave that mental stimulation. You know, very easy to get bored. Very easy, very easy. It's like if you're not keeping their mind stimulated, if you're not keeping them on their toes, they're just kind of like, twiddly-dee, tweedly-dum. Next thing, yeah, kind of bored. You know what I mean? So that's Gemini in a small scope. Geminis are like Aries, the kids of the zodiac. Gemini is kind of like the toddler. Where, well, no, I wouldn't say it's like the toddler. Gemini is more so like, it can be toddler-like, because it's definitely childish in a sense. But it's definitely a little bit older than like the Aryan baby. So I guess you could say like a little baby toddler, you know, running around in you know, the house, you know. It likes to explore. It likes information. It likes to you know, it likes to have a whole bunch of information coming in and coming out. It's like the funnel is of information. It's like, what is this? What is that? I want to know more about this. You know, oftentimes we talk about Gemini. We talk about Gemini being the person with multiple tabs and on the computer. You know what I'm saying? Like a Gemini will have multiple messages on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Messages that have not been read, answered. You know what I mean? Multiple apps open on the phone, multiple tabs open on the laptop. You know what I mean? It has multiple things that it can talk about as a sign, but sometimes when we're talking about going into a level of depth, which Sagittarius would or could, Gemini can be very limited to expanding on that information. It's like, yeah, I have all this information, but I only have a limited amount of information because I know and have so much. Gemini is also the jack of all trades. Usually a Gemini is not just a musician. Is not just an artist, painter, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Gemini has multiple things that it's doing at one time. The journalist, definitely somebody who's a beautiful writer, has a, you know, nice way with words, can usually talk themselves out of damn near anything. Yeah, you know, it's the twin. So like I said, it's that duality of air, you know. Also with Geminis, if we're going to talk about the back end of things, you know what I'm saying? Like, Geminis definitely get the rap for being the gossipers of the zodiac. You know, the zodiac signs that oftentimes get themselves into trouble because of the things that they say. And then they, you know, get kind of called out on the shit that they say. And they're like, did I say Polly, my twin? Did I? Very gossipy. That's one thing that gets Geminis into trouble, is because they talk a lot. They talk a lot. And nobody's saying that Geminis can't talk a lot, because that's what they like to do. But sometimes they talk so much that they don't even realize that some of the stuff that's coming out of their mouths, it's kind of like they kind of like the signs that just say stuff sometimes to hear themselves talk, but they not really understanding everything that they say, and they just kind of say stuff to talk. They'll argue your ass down to the ground, even if they wrong, because they want to be right. They don't know how to be wrong, because sometimes Geminis feel like they are the all-knowing and all-seeing. Definitely comes with a lot of confidence, you know, especially if they're very knowledgeable in the things that they're talking about. But, you know, just for the Geminis, I definitely say sometimes that they can, their words, even though they know how to express themselves through words, their words can get them in trouble a lot. So, also with Geminis, Geminis are very fluid. You know, if we're talking sexuality, you know, Geminis oftentimes they're not one way. Like I said, I'm talking about shape shifting all the time. You know, they can be one way one time and then shit long down the line and like, I don't believe in that shit no more, I believe in this now. So like I said, that mutable era is always constantly changing, always getting different perspectives, always on a different wave. You know what I mean? Most Geminis that I know can dress their motherfucking ass off. They always like to do different shit. They don't like really doing the same things as everybody else. But it's not like they try not to do shit like everybody else. It's just innately in them to do different shit, which is dope as hell. But yeah, that's Gemini on a smaller scale. You know what I can, say about Gemini is a very very diverse sign. You know what I mean? Very loves to learn, loves to try new things, and talks a hell of a lot. You know what I mean? It has a lot of things to talk about. So it's never boring with a Gemini. Never, 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 never boring, because they always have some shit to talk about. But shit, other than that, very quirky, quick on their feet, witty. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go for bro with a Gemini through words, man, they can spar they motherfucking hearts out, they fucking minds out with your shit. You know what I mean? So just be careful if you're going back and forth with a Gemini when it comes to word battling, because yes, it can get real heated real fast. But other than that, that's all I have right now for this sun sign series and zodiac signs of Gemini. You can hit me up at a rainy storm, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Personal readings, natal chart, nodal chart consultations. Hit your girl up. You already know what it is. And shit, next thing we got Cancer.